and we're back. In the last episode, we did Diamond's bad end, and a certain other someone showed up at the end, so it scared me to half to death. But now we're skipping forward all the way to Volume 4 to pay a visit to Mr. Vikare Icarus. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous bodily injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, you soldier on. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, do things just keep happening. But let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. That gets me every time. You have made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You have made your way back to civilization. Is it still near dawn, though? You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. We have Gorgo over here, and now we have Vikare, and he's actually adorable. Oh man. We're at our little spaceship. We're back to our spaceship. How do we find our way back here? It's probably best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen to you at this point. Everything that's happened so far on this planet has been kind of chaotic. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You head back to the site of your abandoned spaceship. Sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but it's a little slice of home. Maybe at least 1 or 2 pieces of it are fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and big goggles is standing there staring at your spaceship. Maybe assessing it. Oh, is he short? I thought he'd be tall. As you watch, he breaks off a couple gears and stuffs them in his pocket. Hey! You clear your throat loudly. And already he has shot back up the best boy ranks. That smile, that line, those goggles, this theme!
Good galloping gravy! Why, I've never seen the likes of you before. What strange wonders the heavens have rained down upon us today.
You quickly lose any indignation you are building up. He's smiling at you, and his words seem at least somewhat amicable. Maybe you got this all wrong. Maybe this is the next person you're going to get chummy with. You cut right to the chase. No point in beating around the ground leaf covering. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in mighty need of a new friend.
A friend, eh? A bosun companion, a pal about town? I've seen nary a Tom and Dick or Harry around these parts who might fit the bill.
You were kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend. Is it too late to say that now? You try to imply it with your eyebrows.
As for me, day-to-day matters here on Alternia interest me not.
It's turning into the diamond voice.
As for me, day-to-day matters here on Alternia interest me not. For I care only about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse.
Oh my gosh, I love him.
Of the cosmos. That's right, space! It is spaceflight that consumes my every waking thought and all my ardor.
As in accordance with my duty as a future Alternian Crusader, of course.
No oxygen, no wind, a total vacuum. That is the life for me, all right. Flying in space above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Right. You get the feeling you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight. Like, maybe he's trying to say something totally different? Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly takes precedence over your issues. He seems like a great candidate for a friend, despite the fact that his voice sounds like it belongs over a newsreel about World War II. Okay, we have a voice description. That is not my thing. Okay, so it should be a lot deeper. Okay, I'll try that. I just have one query for you, sport, if I may be so bold. Do you also like spaceflight? Do you yearn to see the moon shining above, the clouds whipping by as you chase and tease the impish western wind? And then also keep going past that up into space? I don't know which one is the short end. I actually don't know. I'm gonna say I'm not so sure about spaceflight. His eyes widen. You see them sparkle? That was the bad one! Okay, that was the long one. That's gotta be the long one. Tell him you love spaceflight.
Well then, we are in total agreement.
Two kindred souls traveling hand in hand into a glorious yet inevitable future of conscripted service in space. Which is, as I've already made clear, a thing I most definitely and positively desire. So it seems we have nothing more to discuss. Toodaloo.
Huh?
Toodaloo, okay. My voice for him is all over the place, but I think I'm settling on one slowly. Tell him you're not so sure about spaceflight. His eyes widen. You see them sparkle?
I see.
You're an individual with a more sophisticated palate. A real connoisseur of the buoyant arts, you are. Someone like you could never be satisfied with the anemic affair of traveling through the inky blackness of the galaxies. I believe a jaunt to my hive is in order. Let's get a wiggle on. There was a lot going on there, but you understand that he wants you to follow him. The friendly guy takes you to a building where all of the rooms seem to be balanced on spindly-looking stilts. I hope the bad end doesn't involve us crashing his house. The hive soars above you up into the sky. He gestures to a little platform attached to a pulley system like a rudimentary elevator. I like the little pinwheel. This hive is pretty. Little bus station back there. I'm trying to see what I can see in the background. Can't see much. His house is pretty much what you'd have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. You notice that many of them had cheery slogans splashed across them, saying things like, "Explore the galaxies because you're required to fulfill your duty to society," and "Enlist! Travel! Make friends! Don't get cold!" I thought we couldn't read the Alternian written language. Your new friend doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place.
Just the hive for a dedicated spacecraft enthusiast, isn't it?
You nod. You're not sure what this is leading to, but no one ever went wrong relying on non-specific and plausibly deniable agreement.
Oh, who am I fooling?
You rumbled me potential new chum. What you see before you is a collage of falsehoods. I am nothing but an avatar of baloney. In truth, the myriad temptations and desires of space do nothing to tickle my biscuit. The thought of participating in the glorious eternal conquest gives me the screaming mimmies. I don't know what that is, Vikare. My interest lies in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing a view of clouds in the night sky. Behold my shame. Why are you just telling this to this person you just met? The truth is I long to toss and turn within the grasp of Mistress Gravity's sweet fingers. To traverse the sky! Can such a thing be? You mean you don't have planes on this planet? Imagine flying within the confines of Alternia's very atmosphere. Defying the very conventions of what we all know to be true. Yeah, it's possible. Instead of down, up. Instead of falling, soaring. Can you imagine? Can you see it before you? Could you ever dream of the existence of such a flying machine? Oh no. I think I know which one is the bad end. Tell him airplanes exist. I brought you here to show you my truth. And you treat me to mockery. An airplane? A plane that floats in the air? Flying machines are a serious business. I think you should leave. Oh, what? That was a short ending. 3 it is? Apparently I've never heard of such a thing. Ha! But the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unhorned comrade. What do you think? Does it excite you? Do my ideas rattle your buttons? You can't but notice that he's referred to you as a chum and a comrade, but friend hasn't made an appearance yet. Do synonyms count, or is it just a tick of his speaking style? You look as earnest as you can and nod vigorously. You are almost positive this is the thing he really wants you to express interest in. Aha! The truth will out. You and I share this furtive passion for the indulgences of the air. A dialogue between a troll, a flying machine, and the stars. But further away from the stars than we would be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different of the thing this is. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head here, so you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtful. Like maybe you are contemplating the differences. This fellow's demeanor towards you is definitely shading to the more temperate climate zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You're still pretty banged up from your previous adventures, but right now the aching of your stomach is screaming for attention. You humbly ask your friend to be if there might be any chance of getting a bite to eat. But of course! Why, if I had known you had a rumbling in the old digestion bladder, I would have shut my udder. What? I don't even want to read this guy's dialogue. Now, how should we obtain the victuals? You could venture into the great unknown, which is to say, out of my hive. Or we could stay here, beholden to whatever twists and turns Lady Fate has in store for us in the nutrition block. He's like, do you want to go out or do you want to stay here? What say you, new timer? Oh, what? Multiple choices! Lots of choices, okay. Let's go for an all bad end route, shall we? From your budding chum's words, it sounds like he himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside. You tell him your decision. Top choice, buckaroo. Foraging is how I while away most of my time, after all. There's just one small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we're venturing out into the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucis as well. Who is it? What's your Lucis? He'll be a real grumpy Gustav if he goes too long without his nosh. You draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre run-ins and harrowing close shaves, but you know all about Lucises. Luci? You inquire about Gustav, was it? Ho 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 ho, what a card you are. No, my Lucis. I call him the canary. He's a bird! He whips out a photo. It shows a smaller version of himself, his horns nothing but stubs, a far too big pair of aviator goggles slipping off his nose. Standing behind him is a large white fowl, big scraggly wings folded back against its body. You want to say an emu? Whatever it is, it's definitely not a canary. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not a persnickety sort. All kinds of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizon that rushes forward to meet us with astounding grace? Shall we give ourselves over to the current of time's great river? This guy is hilarious. Sure, you tell him, you can leave the house. It's getting a lot easier to pay attention to only the words this guy says that actually make sense. You kind of enjoy his way of speaking, though. If nothing else, it gives you the feeling that he's really excited about this food quest that you're going on together. Your alien pal leads you back down through the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is, when you walk, your body moves. You've had better times, is all you're saying. You've indicated much to your companion. Oh boy, I hear ya. Moving while attached to Alternia's surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever closer to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wail of a distant klaxon! The call to adventure! I really, honestly thought they had planes on Alternia. It beckons us forward through the years, a golden thread stretching ever onward to that glorious inevitability. That's not what you meant, but its excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you will feel better in the future when someone invents flight on this planet. Certainly by that time, you'll either be further along in your healing, or dead. Either way, thinking about that future brings a little rosy glow to your heart. You ask your buddy where you're going next. The world is our bivalvular sea critter. We'll go wherever the wind calls our names. Great. But if it's a short time answer you're inquiring after, there's a specific plant the canary likes to eat. It's got white petals and leaves as red as a troll's most lurid desires. Could you give a holler if your bulbs fall on something of that persuasion? You agree to keep an eye out. You continue trudging along beside him, wincing whenever your steps jolt your injuries. Maybe a little conversation will help distract you. You ask your new friend what got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could be better? Up there, free of worldly concerns, the wind in your face and the horizon at your back. Seeing the continent spread out below you. Finally feeling that your personal aesthetic is appropriate for the given circumstances. That's funny. You chew over this one for a minute or two. It seems like what really makes this guy take is the travel and adventure thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting from his general demeanor and pretty much everything he's said up until now. You're nervous to bring up anything that might make him looks like you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't there, you say with apprehension, maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like maybe being in a spaceship could satisfy some of those urges? What? There may be some superficial similarities to trick the common troll, but in essence, the blood pusher and soul of each as different as night and day. As a mountain in a ditch, a star in a mud puddle. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel is fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy our bloodthirsty and nearly immortal overlords. And I look forward to such a time when I can be of service, in the eternal millstone grid of intergalactic conquest. What's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the kaboom, the trunk beast hawk of it all? Just as you feared, you'd stepped in it now. You're struggling for a response when out of the corner of your eye you spot a cluster of white flowers. Relieved, you point them out to your companion, who races over to gather them. But when he holds one up, you can see it has blue leaves, not red. Your shoulders droop. Seems like all you're doing is disappointing your buddy, who has been so nice to you. Or at least that's what you think you've read between the lines of his confusing speaking style. Fear not, my smooth-headed compatriot. These are not the loosest rations we sought. But this plant is people chow. What I meant to say is we can eat it. Since we are people, it's food for people, not food made of people. To be clear. He comes back with a fistful of the flowers and hands you one of the blue leaves. You're not at all sure that foods that's safe for your buddy will be safe for you as well, but at this point you don't have much to lose. Besides, with the way your stomach is groaning, it might as well be a perfectly seared steak. You put it in your mouth. Chewing on the leaf, you feel even more affectionate towards this guy than before, but you were worried this trip was just turning into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You are desperate to find some way to show him that you understand his interest. You want to connect to him on a deep soul level. Anything to get him to look at you with that treasure glow of friendship in his eyes and his goggles. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something that he has to do, some kind of necessary obligation. So maybe there's a reason he's fixated on an activity that is kind of similar but just a little bit different. Maybe he doesn't want to do the required thing, the space conquest, but doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely all the way. Maybe airplane flight, or whatever similar thing he's envisioning, is a compromise between what he has to do and what he wants to do. No, I'm pretty sure he wants to make it up then. A balance, like all must find, in order to live as an individual in a society that shapes one's desires from birth. You cautiously open your mouth. Heart pounding, you venture to ask your pal if he maybe would rather not satisfy the demands of the bloodthirsty overlords? If maybe a part of him wants to get into his flying machine and will leave, for real? He seems taken aback. Maybe you should never have said it. What a huge mistake. You've probably pushed his friendship out of your reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, feeling like you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leaps to action, seemingly also glad to be given a reason not to answer this question. He races forward in the direction you indicated. In a matter of seconds, there's a yelp and your new acquaintance vanishes. Instantly you realize your error. You didn't look where you were pointing. Oh no! While walking, you unwittingly came close to the edge of a large cliff, which your companion has now disappeared over. You race to the side, your stomach floating with fear. This is absolutely the opposite of what you wanted. You look down in horror. Your friend now looks approximately how you felt when you first crash-landed on this dark planet. He's conscious, his face frozen in shock, but one leg is twisted underneath him in a nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive that it shouldn't look like that. You call out to him in distress, sure he's going to castigate you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language won't make it hurt any less to lose this guy's trust forever. What ho! Kaloo, Kalay! What? His voice floats up from the ground below, weak but somewhat jovial. Is it possibly not angry? Oh, joyous happening! Oh, delight for the body and spirit! Did you see? Did your being absorb what occurred before your very visage? I flew! Soared through the air! Just for a moment, but it happened. An ecstasy like none I've ever known. Now all I'm imagining is him running off the cliff like Wile E. Coyote and then looking down and then falling. You hesitate. Is it really possible that he could be taking this so well? That maybe your big mess-up was a step in the right direction after all? It's certainly a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you can secure his friendship at last. My strange associate, come on down here. You were celebrating grand fashion this eve. How did you know that a brief sojourn through unfettered air would bring me such joy? You're a fine fellow, and a truly superb friend. Your heart lifts the joy. He said it. Of course, you know how to find some way to climb down a cliff with your messed up ribs, not to mention figuring out how to transport someone with a broken leg back to the house. You're not really sure if that's possible, or when the adrenaline that's got you this far will give out and force you to succumb to your own pain. But with a night full of difficulties ahead of you, you couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing you'll face them hand in hand with your friend. Assuming he didn't hurt his hands as well. No matter, you did it! Oh wow. Victory! Oh my god, he's such a nerd. Oh, his horn! Aww. Poor angel. So that's that. I have no clue what's going to happen if we stay at home. Probably he'll show me a flying machine prototype and then horrifically die like Diamond did. But we're just gonna have to find that out next time.